Good evening, everyone. I hope you missed the daily current affairs because of Gandhi Jayanti and Sunday. We could not get through the last two classes, but of course, I cover all the important sections from Sunday on my Monday's class. But I have also compiled a section for Monday, important ones, and I will definitely do it in this class. So, from the perspective of your examination, whatever is important, I completely take care of it. You do not have to worry about current affairs anymore. Also, I would like to suggest that one thing you have to keep in mind, I have already completed my marathon for June. Marathon class, all the current affairs in a section wise manner has been taken care of. Make sure you watch it because soon I'll be coming up with July, August, September, and so on. Alright, let's begin with the various topics for today. Also, do not worry about making notes because notes will be provided through my Telegram channel by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries regarding this examination, you can talk to me on Instagram and follow me on Threads. These are the various events that we have to cover today. First of all, let's talk about the practice question. Those of you who have answered it correctly, I will take your names by the end of this class. With reference to the Santhal Rebellion, consider the following statements. It was also known as Santhal Hul or Hul Rebellion. It was started in the late 18th century. It was an organized war against colonialism. The rebellion was led by two brothers, Sidhu and Kanhu, and the rebellion took place in Damanipur region. The Santhal, the spelling of it, was used by the British as Santhal, but the Santhals actually call themselves Santals. So it should be Saltal. This is the belief of the historians. All right, and this was actually started in 1855, not the late 18th century, just 2 years before the rebellion of or revolt of 1857. So first statement from that perspective is incorrect. 1855. What is an organized revolution or rebellion? What is an organized action? When you have the common aim, when you have a hierarchy, when you know that your causes are common in nature. Santhal rebellion was actually organized. It had the leaders, enormously heroic and courageous leaders by the name of Sidhu and Kano. And then they knew what do we have to attack? In what manner do we have to attack? Why do we have to attack the symbols of the colonial structure? So, yes, it was an organized war against colonialism. They knew the causes, they knew who were causing those miseries to them, and they knew who were responsible. They knew the people they have to look up to in case of any aimlessness. So, these people were Sidhu and Kanu. So, first is correct, first is incorrect, second is correct, third is correct. The rebellion took place in the present-day Jharkhand, region, specifically Rajmahal Hills, which was known as Damani Ko. So yes, fourth is also correct. Apart from first, second, third, and fourth are correct, three only will be the correct answer. The Santhal Rebellion or the Hul, Santhal Hul, it took place in 1855, so not the late 18th century. It was an organized war against colonialism that was led by the Santals, and these were the heroic brothers Sidhu and Kanhu. The rebellion took place in the lush Damanipur region, Rajmahal Hills, over here. Alright, and of course, you have to remember one more thing from the perspective of the examination, that Santalis were not the original inhabitant of the Santal Pargana, present day Santal Pargana, that comprises of Dumka, Pakur, Godda, Sahibganj, Deogar, and parts of Jamtara. Okay, moving on. Yes, the P2I batches, we have come up with another very important categorization with silver, gold, and platinum badge. According to your own needs, you can take admission in any one of the batches. The silver batch will comprise of those particular important things that will help you for UPSC 2024. The gold for, of course, 2024 plus 2025, but basically 2025 and thereafter. Then we have platinum, which is for 3 years, long time. According to your own suitability of language and need, you can take admission in any one of these. The batches are starting from 10th of October and these will be evening batches. So make sure you take admission here. Also, I would like to suggest that please, if you haven't taken admission in anywhere as of yet, in any coaching institute, why do we tell you to take admission with us? Is because we are better. In what sense? In the product. We are not only going to provide you GS, but also CSAT, ethics, essay, language papers along with interviews, and a residential course is also provided. That means if you're able to qualify UPSC 2024 for silver badge, you will be called to the campus to study for the mains examination without any extra charges, and you will be given lodging facilities. Everything will be on us, on StudyIQ. Then thereafter it is for gold and platinum as well. Make sure you use the code PDLive to get admission. Okay, whenever you're going to make a payment, make sure that you use this code so that you can get any batch at a very discounted price. For these batches, it is starting from 23,999 only. All right. So for who among the following did Prime Minister Nehru said, no man can wish for a better comrade and better colleague in any undertaking, a man of highest integrity, loyalty, devoted to ideals, a man of conscience and a man of hard work. So these are the given options. The correct answer to this question is Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. Many of you may not be knowing it, but on 2nd of October, Mahatma Gandhi ji's birthday falls along with Lal Bahadur Shastri ji's. So that is why this question is a tribute to him. Former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, he was born in Mughal Sarai in 1904, and he died under mysterious circumstances in Tashkent, which is present-day Uzbekistan. His death is shrouded with mystery. He served in the UP state government and the central government. He served as the Prime Minister in 1964 after the death of the Prime Minister Nehru. You know, he dropped his last name. His last name was Verma. But he wasn't happy with it since he was a child. Because of course, the caste system that existed, that prevailed that time, when he was taking admission in a school in class 6, he chose that he wouldn't use the name Verma, last name Verma. So he decided to study Shastra. And Shastra in English or Shastra in Hindi, he studied it in Kashi Vidyapith in Banaras. So thereafter, in 1925, he got this particular surname or last name as Shastri. So Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. After independence, he became the Minister of Railways and Transport in 1952. In August 1956, a mishap happened. Many people lost their lives in a train accident in present-day Telangana, Mehboob. So he had felt this moral responsibility of resigning. He tendered his resignation to the Prime Minister Nehru, but Nehruji did not accept it. Again in 1956 November, another train accident happened in Tamil Nadu's Ariyalu. So what happens again? He tenders this resignation. Keeping that in mind, Prime Minister Nehru made a remark that no man can wish for a better comrade, a better colleague in any undertaking, a man of highest integrity, loyalty, devoted to ideals, a man of conscience, and a man of hard work. When he did that, he raised his moral stature nationally. It was very hard for people, even then, to accept the moral responsibility of anything. He decided the future course of politics, how ministers should also be morally responsible to the citizens of the country. Moving on, consider the following statements. After the declaration of independent India, on August 15, 1947, the RBI continued to issue notes from the colonial period featuring King George VI. The government of India brought out its new design of the 1 rupee note in 1949. King George was replaced with Mahatma Gandhi. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? The current picture of Mahatma Gandhi ji that we see on our banknotes, it is actually a cutout of a picture. This picture was taken in 1946. And do you know that for the first time ever, when Mahatma Gandhi ji featured on any banknote was in the year 1969, when we were observing the 100th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi ji. So his picture was not the one for the original choice. And I will tell you that as well. So after the declaration of independent India, the RBI continued to provide us the notes with King George VI on it. After that, the government of India brought out its new design of the 1 rupee note in 1949. But King George was replaced by another inanimate important object, not Mahatma Gandhi ji. First is correct, second is not, one only will be the correct answer. This picture that we see on the banknotes is the best picture to mirror on anything. That is why this picture was taken. Who took it? We do not know as of yet. So this picture he shared with British politician Lord Frederick William Pethick Lawrence. The RBI's Department of Currency Management is actually responsible for designing the notes, and the approval has to come from both the central government and the union government according to section 25 of the RBI Act 1934. Gandhiji first actually featured in 1969. This is the particular note. He is looking, he's situated there, his body is looking outward, and as you see, he is actually at the backdrop of a very important place. This is actually the Sevagram Ashram in the backdrop. And who had this signature? L.K. Jha, RBI Governor L.K. Jha. Remember, because these kind of small things also can be asked in your examination. In October 1987, a series of 500 currency notes featuring Gandhiji was launched. For a few months after the declaration of independent India, we continued to have this particular banknote picture, that is King George the Sixth. And the government of India brought out its new design in 1949 of 1 rupee note. He was replaced with the symbol of the lion capital of the Ashokan pillar at Sarnath. But later on, it was decided, because there was a lack of technology, so it was decided that why we shouldn't have a person's face on it, because inanimate objects, it was very easy to have a counterfeit currency or duplicate currencies for inanimate objects. So a person's face could be a little harder to capture. That is why Mahatma Gandhiji's face was chosen, and because of his national appeal, the love people had for him. Of course, he was the father of the nation. He was considered as the father of the nation. That is why his face was chosen. And his face was chosen because of his national appeal. In 1996, new Mahatma Gandhi series was launched by the RBI to replace the former Ashokan pillar banknotes. With respect to the socio-economic and caste census, consider the following statements. The last data on the caste composition of the Indian population could be found in 1931 census. After independence, a pan-India caste census was never undertaken. Apart from Bihar, Odisha and Karnataka also had the intentions to conduct it. So how many of the statements given above are correct? The last data on the caste census actually comes from 1931. The first ever census that also considered caste system was done in 1881. Caste is very unique to India, specifically the religion of Hinduism. Do you know that in Islam and Christianity, these two do not have a societal hierarchy, and the societal hierarchy is existing in India's Islam and Christianity. People generally changed their religion from Hinduism to other religions in order to get themselves upgraded. But that did not happen for them. There are many castes, there are many people who still are considered on the basis of their caste, even if they are changing their religion from Hinduism to Islam and Islam to Christianity. So it's very unique to India. I will cover a class for it today at 8 p.m. Do watch it. Alright, so the last data on caste composition was yes in 1931. We did have a caste-based census in 2011, but the data was never published. Second is incorrect, first is correct. Apart from Bihar, many other states including Karnataka and Odisha, they are calling out for caste census, even Maharashtra. So third is also correct. First is correct, third is correct, second is not correct. So what will that make out to be? Two only will be the correct answer. Maharashtra is now also wanting a caste census. Many people are saying that they would want to have a caste census soon. What is it? Tabulation of the population on the basis of what caste they are following, because caste has been one of the reasons why some people were never able to upgrade themselves economically. On the basis of their caste, they were denied the opportunities in earlier times when India used to be very caste specific country. And in Manusmriti, the caste system is actually based upon both karma, that means what you're doing, and dharma, that is what your duty is. I will cover this aspect as well. It's very informative. Do watch that. So this is for both rural and urban India. This particular survey system wants to know about the economic status of these people, and what caste they belong to. All right. So there is in the OBC itself a caste that would be very well to do, even if they have taken themselves up economically, they will be better accepted. This is the notion that reservation and other things have. And there is going to be a particular class of people that will remain underprivileged among the caste system. So there will be backward and very backward. That is why it is important for policymakers to know what kind of people are still being deprived of on the basis of their caste, and what particular class of people on the basis of their caste as well they have gotten uplifted. So this is what the necessity of caste-based census is. The first census in India to include data on caste was conducted in 1881. From 1931 to 1941, caste-based data was collected but not published. After World War II, you know what happened? There was a lack of resources with the British. So they dropped this plan of conducting caste-based census. The UPA government did conduct it in 2011. Data was never published. Population of OBCs was 52% according to the 1931 caste census. This is what we still know of. Article 340 has of the Constitution says that there will be an appointment of a commission to investigate the conditions of the socially and economically backward classes and the difficulties which they are facing, making recommendations to the government. With respect to Nobel Prize, consider the following statements. Originally, only 4 Nobel Prize were created. Only one person has declined the Nobel Prize, and a Nobel Prize cannot be awarded posthumously. Hargobind Khurana won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. So what do we have to see? Not correct one. See, Nobel Prizes are being declared, so we need to know about certain facts of it. Do you know that posthumously Nobel Prize cannot be given, but there is an exception. If I have made the announcement in a particular month in which generally the Nobels get announced, and the person dies after the announcement because the award is collected on 10th of December, so then it is okay. But I cannot decide an award for Albert Einstein now because he has died earlier, before the announcement itself. So this is, yes, correct. Third is correct from that perspective. Alfred Nobel said that he was a very wealthy man, of course. He was an inventor, an engineer, and whatnot. So when he thought of his legacy, he ensured that his state was to give those people credit, the correct credit that they deserved on the basis of uplifting other human beings, their researches, their works. So yes, keeping that in mind, 5 Nobel were created, and the names of the institutes were also given, that this institute will be providing prize for this particular section, this for that section. Later on in 1968, one more prize was added, but the Nobel Puritans say that it is not a Nobel Prize. It was actually Economic Sciences Prize, but it is considered as a part of Nobel because of the organization that announces it, and it was created through a donation only to the Nobel estate. So it was in 1968. Earlier 5 were there, and now one more was added, so 6 are there, although Puritans say otherwise. So here it should be 5, okay, instead of 4. Then plus 1 in 1968. So only one person has declined? No, 2 people have declined. You have to tell me in the comment segment the names, okay. So second is also incorrect. First is incorrect, second is incorrect, third is correct. Fourth, yes, Hargobind Khurana ji he came from immense poverty. You know, he owned his first pencil when he was at the age of 6. Immense poverty. And he rose up to such a stature that he was given a Nobel Prize. This is the power of education. Anybody can rise if they are educated and they work hard. Okay, so first and second incorrect, third and fourth are correct. Not correct, 2 only will be not correct. Okay, Catalan, Carticoin, Drew Weisman, they have won the Nobel Prize in Medicine or Physiology for their work in messenger RNA vaccine. The immense work that they have done, it contributed to development of this vaccine for COVID-19, saved many people, many lives. Okay, and although there is a, you can say, a convention that we have to give prizes in Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine only to those to honor the decade-old work. But the work for this was actually done, it was in the work since 2005. But the application is relatively new. That is why this particular convention has also been abandoned for this year. Moving on. The Nobel Prizes were created by Alfred Nobel, very wealthy, immensely wealthy. The state he thought he should be giving to fund prizes to those during the preceding year have conferred greatest benefit to humankind. So the first Nobel Prize was awarded in the year 1901, just 5 years after his demise. Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences was chosen to give Nobel in physics and chemistry, Swedish in literature, Swedish Academy in literature, Sweden's Karolinska Institute of Medical University for Physiology and Medicine, and the Norwegian Parliament for Nobel Peace Prize. Even Volodymyr Zelensky is being considered for Nobel Peace Prize. Also, 1968, Sweden's central bank gave donation to this fund and decided that they are going to provide prize in economic sciences, and the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, according to the same principles as the other prizes, gives it away. And Nobel Prize diploma, a gold medal and a check. This is the concomitant of the prize that is received as a Nobel Prize for this year. The check will be for around $1 million, and this has to be distributed among the recipients only, as in for supposedly medicine and physiology, it will be $1 million that will be divided amongst the two people who have received it. Each diploma is a unique work of art created by the Swedish and Norwegian artists and calligraphers, and the laureates collect these prizes in an official ceremony on December 10. Okay, and these are the many people from India who have won the Nobel Prize. Of course, Abhijit Banerjee in economics, Kailash Satyarthi for peace, Venki Ramakrishnan for chemistry, Amartya Sen for economics, the 14th Dalai Lama for peace, and then we have Subramanian Chandrasekhar in physics, Mother Teresa, peace, Hargobind Khurana, physiology of medicine, C.V. Raman, physics, Rabindranath Tagore, literature, Rudyard Kipling, of course, I'm talking about colonial India, and then we have Ronald Ross and physiology or medicine. Okay, moving on to the next part of it. The Nobel Prize for this year, there are 351 nominees for the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, Nobel Peace Prize, 351 nominees. This is the second highest number of nominees if we compare it to 2016. There were 376 candidates back then. Ukrainian president and the Russian dissident, they both are being considered for Nobel Peace Prize. Moving on. In 2020, China's Chang'e spy mission returned samples from the moon. Scheduled to launch in 2024, Japan's Martian Moon Explorer aims to investigate the moons of Mars, Phobos and Deimos, and gather information on how they were formed. JAXA's Hayabusa mission from 2003 to 2010 was the first time humans had brought back samples from a near-Earth object, the asteroid Itokawa. Then NASA's OSIRIS-REx has been on a 7-year mission to collect and return samples from an asteroid called Bennu, billions of kilometers from Earth. So what do we have to see? How many of the statements given above is or are correct? Yes. If we talk about Bennu, this is of course correct. NASA's OSIRIS-X is becoming OSIRIS-APEX, and Apophis is one of the important planet killers that we call. They are important objects in the heavenly body and atmosphere that could impact Earth in the near future. Now, NASA's OSIRIS-REx has been on a 7-year mission to collect and return samples from an asteroid called Bennu. This is correct. Billions of kilometers from Earth. Both is correct. In 2020, China's Chang'e 5 mission returned samples from the moon. This is also correct. Do you know that Chandrayaan 4 is going to be a sample return mission? If Chandrayaan 2 would have been successful on making a soft landing on the moon's surface, then it would be very beneficial for India, because Chandrayaan 3 could have been a sample return mission. But now it's not possible. It will be Chandrayaan 4. Scheduled to launch in 2024, Japan's Martian Moons Explorer is going to explore the moons of the Mars, Phobos and Deimos, and gather the information on how they were formed. And third is also correct. Before this, of course, through the Apollo missions of NASA, we got samples back from the moon. So all 4 are correct. All 4 will be the correct answer. Of course, NASA's OSIRIS-REx has been a lot in the news, and it departed from the Earth in 2016, collected samples and dropped it in September in 2023 itself, so that we can study what we have collected from Bennu. How did we originate? Is there any similarity in minerals between Earth and Bennu? And what lies ahead for Apophis as well. JAXA's Hayabusa mission, Japanese Space Agency, of course, from 2003 to 2010, the first time humans had brought back samples from near-Earth object, that was the asteroid Itokawa. Japan followed that with Hayabusa 2. It returned with samples from asteroid called Ryugu. Remember that, because comparison questions can also be asked. And also in 2020, China's Chang'e 5 mission returned samples from the moon. Japan's Martian Moons Explorer is going to look into Phobos and Deimos, and it will bring back rocks from Mars as well. Mars region, it will be launched in 2024. It will collect samples from Phobos, which is the larger of the 2 moons of the Mars. Consider the following pairs: temple and the place where they are situated. Chennakesava Temple, Somnathpura, Hoysala Temple, Hedubidu. or Hilbit, you can call it Kesava Temple, Bellur. How many pairs given above is or are correct? Chinna Kesava Temple is in actually Bellur. Kesava Temple is in Somnathapura and Hoysaleshwara Temple is in Hilbit or Hilbidu. So first and third are incorrect, second is correct, one only will be the correct answer. We have of course gone time and again about the Hoysaleshwara Temple. This is a kind of question that can be asked once again with you, to you, okay? And these have been now a part of UNESCO's World Heritage List. Okay, moving on. Chenna Kesava Temple is in Bellur, Hoysaleshwara in Hilbidu, and Kesava in Somnathapura. Consider the following factors: high yielding variety seeds, fertilizers, adequate irrigation facilities, mechanized farm tools. How many of the factors given above were responsible for Green Revolution? You have to tell me this in the comment section. Answer it correctly and I will take your names in the upcoming class. Let me take the names of those students who have answered my last question correctly. Alright. So those of you who have answered my last question correctly include the names of I think what was the answer for it? Let me just check. Yes. So first was incorrect, second was correct, third was correct, fourth was correct. So it will be 3 only, right? So those of you who have answered it correctly are Simran, Tejas, Jaipal, then Manish, Devi, Ritu, Nityanand, Raghuveer, Shantanu. Then yes, Shantanu, you are correct. Gautam has answered it correctly. Vivek. Shubham, I have told you why was it considered an organized war. Swati has answered it correctly. Anjali has answered it correctly. Abhishek has answered it correctly. But you have, written 3 only, so I am not sure what you mean by that. Then you have written Kanika, yes, it's sufficient that you read the PDFs. I always tell you to read the PDFs after you complete the class just for revision. Thereafter, I also tell you to, read the editorials. If you're watching daily current affairs class, if you're supplementing it with, editorials from either Indian Express or the Hindu, you are good to go with current affairs. Om has answered it correctly. Elon Musk has given me thanks. Thank you, Elon Musk. Then, thank you, Abul. 2 brothers, 2, led by Siddhu Kanu. There were the other 2 brothers, but if we consider leaders, then Siddhu and Kanu were the leaders, okay? Vikas, mid-19th century? Yes, correct, Vikas. Then Vaishali has answered it correctly, Neeraj has answered it correctly, Riya has answered it correctly. Yes, it's very useful for other UPSC exams as well or other PCS exams as well. Sanjay has answered it correctly. Thank you, Anurag. So we shall meet again. I will take your names once you answer this question. Thank you so much.